try to recall the days before the word app became a common utterance. For me, it brings back memories of phones that slide open, cases clipped to the waist, and texting strange numbers to get awful MIDI ringtones. There weren't many decent phone games to speak of unless you had a BlackBerry, in which case you had access to the legendary BlackBerry Brick Breaker. Unfortunately, we haven't seen many additions to the brick breaker genre over the last 10 years, despite the boom of popularity that mobile games have experienced. I recently had the pleasure of playing an upcoming indie game called Voxel Baller. I was first introduced to the game via a Reddit post that made it to the front page of r/indie gaming. It's a fresh spin on the brick breaker genre featuring beautiful voxel-based graphics. Though it might not look like much at first glance, I found myself enjoying Voxel Baller, due in no small part to its competent level design. The presentation certainly lacks polish in certain areas though. The menus and character models are nothing to look at, but they get the job done. I've certainly seen worse from an indie game. The music is decent, featuring funky electronic dance tunes that sound like they were made by Herbie Hancock's less talented cousin. The graphics are the main draw here, as the voxels mixed with the color palette make for a very bright and sharp visual. The game is based on voxels, and that was a good choice as it makes for more satisfying brick breaking. Dozens of tiny particles explode all over the screen when you really start to wreak havoc on the board. With options cranked up, this game is legitimately beautiful. The gameplay features some extrapolations on the basic brick breaker formula. You could choose from a selection of characters when in World Tour mode, each with their own strengths, weaknesses, special abilities, and blood types? Okay. There are also bosses at the end of each world, and though they're all fairly derivative in terms of their mechanics, they're a welcome addition and they look pretty nice. The level design is definitely competent. It sets you up with opportunities to amusingly exploit the satisfaction from breaking a brick, which is the essence of the game. I'm not talking about Angry Birds levels of handcrafted perfection, but it's better than you might expect from such a low-budget indie game. Many of the levels feature clever interactive elements such as cars, snowballs, turrets, and tanks, each of which can pose a hazard or a tactical benefit to your brick breaking. Much of the fun of the game comes from the necessity of keeping the ball in play while scrambling to collect the credits that drop from each broken brick. The credits slowly and predictably move towards the bottom of the screen for collection, whereas the ball itself is frantically bouncing the walls, requiring more skill to line up with the paddle. Your efficiency in this matter largely determines your score. Voxel Baller also felt the best with a controller in my hands. Each brick broken provides a momentary but gratifying vibration as feedback. The game is packed with 10 worlds worth of content, each world featuring about 5 levels. Each level is typical fare for casual games. There are 3 unlockable stars with expendable lives that can be increased by guiding your ball into hearts. The lives are lost when the ball is lost, as you'd expect. But the stars are not as you'd expect. They're not simply unlocked by having a certain score, like in Overcooked or Angry Birds. The first few levels have unique star objectives like only touch the ball 4 times. It would have been nice to see unique star objectives for each level, but after the first few levels, they all resort to the same formula. There is a combo system in the game, and it ensures that there will almost always be a more skilled or efficient way to complete each level. The game features power-ups, though they are lacking on the whole. There was really only one power-up that really felt exciting, the Fireball. The others, Paddle Extension, Ball Saver, Point Multiplier, though useful, did not shake up the gameplay enough. I would have appreciated something akin to a multi-ball mode, for instance. Each character has their own special ability as mentioned, but the best of them all was the one with the Fire Bat, which turns your ball into a fireball if you can time it right. The physics system is decent, but it's far from perfect, and it can change depending on the attributes of your character. There are times when I got stuck trying to get the ball out of the corner, where I felt as though it should have ricocheted back into the action based on the positioning of my paddle. But after a few levels, I got into a rhythm and the physics started to feel serviceable. Voxel Baller comes with a cautious recommendation. It's not going to set the world on fire, but it understands the scope of its genre and achieves its purpose. It's a welcome and refreshing twist considering the catch-penny nature of most brick breaker games. You can pick up Voxel Baller on Steam starting March 22nd. And if you like what we do here, please consider supporting the show at patreon.com/losereviews. Lose Reviews, charging the mountain of popular culture and mining its hidden gems.